Before I get started, I just wanted to make it very clear that I'm not opposed to health or fitness or self-improvement. I think these things are important. Rather, I wanted to highlight how these very real and valid things can be co-opted for selfish reasons and examine the kind of person who would do that. So, let's talk about self-acceptance. On the 25th of April 2023, episode 69 of the Whatever podcast was released. From what I can gather about this podcast, because I've never seen a single episode and intend to keep it that way, it was started by this guy, Brian, as a vehicle to complain about modern women, but then use those same modern women for clickbait thumbnails to increase their channel viewership. But this episode was different. This time they were joined by one Ali C. Lopez. People immediately took to Twitter and other online avenues to make fun of Ali, her appearance and weight, the most popular tweet referring to her as Gorlock the Destroyer among a group of regular women to highlight her unattractiveness in comparison to them. And oh boy, doesn't it seem a lot more cruel when you lay it out so bluntly like that. But the most famous clip from this podcast doesn't come from some nobody on Twitter. Sorry, ex-Twitter. But rather from Ali herself. An hour and 42 minutes into the podcast, the girls are asked to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10, and Ali responds with this.
A fat fucking 10.
And yeah, that's where the meme was born. Whenever you see a fat person online being described as a 10, this is where it came from. And as an aside, I really hate the trend of asking people to rate themselves. It only ever comes into play when you're trying to put someone, let's be honest, usually a woman, down. If she gives herself too high a rating, people come crawling out of the woodwork to correct her and put her in her place. They think, oh, a high opinion of yourself? None of that here, and then valiantly swoop in to decrease their sense of self-worth. Again, sounds pretty cruel when you put it that way, doesn't it? And this is all due to a prevalent attitude I've been noticing more and more, where rather than challenging their ideas of how things should be, some people will instead seek to attack those that don't conform to this idea. It's a way of validating what you already feel to be true by attacking anyone and anything that doesn't conform. In the case of Ali C, it's about her weight. But this extends to any way in which people don't conform to broader societal expectations. Gender roles, veganism, anything's fair game so long as you don't act in the way that you should. So let's take a look at how this attitude manifests.
G'day, ladies and gentlemen, the Marn here.
This is Isaac Butterfield, a YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers and whose content I would describe as definitely not woke. Isaac has made many videos reacting to the low-hanging fruit that is body positivity TikTok, and it's exactly what you would expect. He watches a video of a fat person who doesn't feel the need to lose weight, calls them an ugly fat fuck who's gonna kill themselves with food, and rakes in millions of views from his like-minded viewers. Isaac had a field day with Ali's appearance on the Whatever podcast and quickly released his own video on the meme, titled, "Delusional Trans TikTok Star Thinks She's a 10?" It goes about as well as you would expect.
Fucking hell, there must be a fucking fire in here. It's between her thighs. That's where the smoke's coming from. Haha. You look like a truck driver. You look like a male truck driver. Surely you know that doesn't look good, love.
But the thing I found most interesting was Isaac's statement towards the start of the video, wherein he justifies himself by saying this.
If you are so delusional that you will go out into the public sphere on the internet and rate yourself a 10 out of 10 when obviously you're less than a 10, alright? You put yourself out there, you open yourself up to public ridicule. Consider this public ridicule.
And Isaac likes to do this a lot, to act as though he's just saying it like it is or telling you what you need to hear in order to keep you humble.
There's nothing wrong with her. But this is a work of art. Fucking get over yourself. You're alright. You're not that good.
Of course, it only ever serves as an excuse for him to bully people or, again, put them back in their place and appeal to his audience, reaffirm what they already believe, and get success from validating their opinions. They don't have anything to lose by not calling this woman ugly, but they have everything to gain in confirming that what they already believe is correct. It's the same reason he just had to include the trans keyword in the title twice. It doesn't matter that she's trans, it's never mentioned in the video itself besides a passing reference that, yeah, she's trans, don't forget that. It's just to tell his anti-woke audience that they're supposed to dislike her before they even even start the video, and set up the idea that the way Ali perceives herself is invalid or wrong. And it's ironic to me that Isaac takes such an issue with people defining themselves in a way that he deems wrong or deluded when it comes to a concept as vague as attractiveness, and yet describes himself as a comedian while failing to meet its most basic definition. Last time I checked, a comedian writes their own jokes. They don't just sit in front of a camera and rattle off jokes that other people have written.
Richard Ratboy1 says, great takes from Ashley, Rachel, Gorlock the Destroyer, Tiffany.
Maybe by comedian he means he's like the Carlos Mencia of anti-woke YouTubers or something. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Isaac isn't reading out these jokes to be funny, not that he could be if he tried, but simply to affirm what his audience already thinks. They've clicked on the video to have a laugh at a fat person who's confident at how she looks, and Isaac is there to provide that for them, confirm that how they're feeling is correct, and fuck it, that'll do. And this need for confirmation in what you already believe to be true outweighs everything else Isaac's channel might have a chance at standing for. For instance, not making fun of random people's bodies online. Now, I don't think body shaming works. I think it's cringe, it demonstrates a pretty big lack of self-awareness, and I don't find it particularly useful to encourage a change in people's attitudes. But Isaac and his audience do. And if you're going to dedicate so much of your content and get so many millions of views by tearing down random strangers online, the least you could do is demonstrate that you actually believe in what you're saying and care to live by the standards to which you hold others. And it looks like we're in luck. In his effort to save his viewers from the clutches of not being pricks to fat people, Isaac began a new series of workout videos at the start of 2023 in the effort to reintroduce health and fitness to the masses. The description of each of these videos reads as follows. In 2023, it is my goal to build a cult of men, young and old, to focus on their health and fitness. Get rid of the dad bod and build an average Marn bod. Sign up today for a free, no hidden anything, I went hard at Christmas training program. And this got me interested, you know. I think it's always good to encourage people to work on themselves, and I think it's admirable that Isaac used his platform to help people, for once. But there's a small problem. On his website you can find a copy of the Buttsman Fitness Challenge, outlining a program that he wants to inspire his audience to follow. Bear in mind, this movement is specifically designed for average men who likely haven't set foot in a gym before. So how does Isaac intend to introduce these average men to fitness? Well, it's a 6-day split, which is already a lot for someone who's never trained before, but honestly, that's the least of your concerns. The amount of volume in this program is absurd. Each day has around 9 exercises, and each exercise is set at around 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps. Look at his push day on Wednesday. That's a minimum of 312 reps in a single workout. That's more volume than Chris Bumstead, you know, Mr. Olympia, does on his chest days. Are you trying to kill your audience, Isaac?
I'm sick of movements. There's so many movements.
This program is as useful as telling someone to just work out, idiot, with no further explanation, which
Get to the gym, push your body, grow.
makes a lot of sense for Isaac, actually. It really reads as though Isaac stole about 3 different routines from Men's Health and then smashed them together into this complete monstrosity. I'd be a lot more willing to believe that Isaac wanted to help the average man become stronger if he actually made his program for the average man. But that isn't the case. Rather, it appears that Isaac wants to simply appear interested in fitness and traditional masculinity to lend more strength to his arguments against modernity and fat people and wokeness. And I know this for the simple fact that Isaac abandoned his inspirational movement over 7 months ago. As of me recording this in November of 2023, it's been 7 months since Isaac's last workout video, which was uploaded on the 16th of March. It took Isaac 5 episodes over the course of 3 months to give up on inspiring a cult of masculinity and go back to reacting to woke TikToks.
I said to him, mate, wouldn't it be good if there was an opportunity for you to watch someone who you know or who you enjoy watching their content on the internet actually go into the gym and show what they do?
It sure would be, Isaac. So where the hell are you? At first I thought it was like a paid thing or a subscription service, but Isaac mentions that he wants it to be free so that there are, and I quote, no excuses.
Literally just for free, so that people have no excuses.
The official website, which I had to access on the Wayback Machine because the link is currently inaccessible for me, appears to be little more than a merch store with some free workouts attached, but the last working snapshot is from all the way back in March, so it seems to have been down for quite a while. Although, having seen how poorly thought out these routines are, I can't say I shed a tear for its loss. There is an official Instagram page for this movement that the website links to, but yeah, it's dead in the water, and it hasn't been mentioned for over 6 months. It really appears that Isaac, for all intents and purposes, just gave up trying to inspire young men, and honestly, maybe even working out entirely. Although, to be fair, having seen how bad his programming was, it's just as likely that he's still suffering from DOMS 7 months later. Not to worry though, Isaac's still concerned with men's fitness, uploading videos about how weak men are a danger to society. Sure would be nice if we had somebody to inspire those weak men. Maybe a movement tailored towards these average guys to get them into health and fitness. Oh well. But while we're here, what does Isaac actually have to say about these weak men?
Their minds are weaker, but it's also physically. Men today can't bench press, can't squat, can't deadlift as much as the men 30, 40 years ago. That has been proven in studies.
Wouldn't it be ironic if Isaac were to say something like this while wearing merch of himself benching and deadlifting in a ton of his videos, but then never actually show any proof of him being able to do these things in reality? Huh, that'd be crazy. Thank God Isaac is a man of principles who practices what he preaches, otherwise it might seem as though Isaac was just pretending to be interested in fitness to make himself seem more credible when he insults fat people and soy boys. He never proves he can do either of these things. But what he can prove is his complete disdain for a lot of female fitness influencers. She does absolutely nothing. This was uploaded 2 months ago, by the way, well past the point that Isaac abandoned his own movement for men. I guess if there's an expert on doing nothing in the gym, it would be Isaac. But I'm sure there's a valid reason he stopped, right? I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that these videos get about 10% of the views his regular content does. That can't be it. But in any case, Isaac, I get it, right? Sometimes life gets in the way and you have to put your fitness plans on hold. Believe me, I get it. So, to motivate you to get back on track, I have a few words from a wise man that I think you'll find quite inspiring.
Get to the gym, push your body, grow, work hard on something. Your life is yours. Don't give up on yourself. For fuck's sake, I cannot stress that enough. Stop giving up on yourself. Don't just sit at home and fucking give up. That's shit. That's fucking shit. That's for the fucking progressive people to fucking carry on with. Give up, accept for who you are. Fuck that shit. Don't accept who you are. Why would you want to do that? Haven't been to the gym in a year? Get off your fat fucking ass and go and do it.
Alright, that's enough of that. I think it's pretty safe to say that Isaac doesn't believe in a damn thing he says. If he did, he would have actually committed himself to this movement that he started, rather than ditching it when it ended up being less popular than the content on his second channel. Ouch. But what I want to do is uncover the general ideological cowardice behind all of Isaac's content. I think Isaac has realized by now that there's a lot of money to be made by stoking the fears of his anti-woke audience. His entire channel is a means by which they can validate their biases and not examine them further, despite Isaac's best efforts to act like he's some censored, countercultural radical.
People are demanding that I apologize, saying I must be cancelled. So why am I being cancelled this time?
As of right now, it seems that I'm being attacked from every corner of the internet. I've been cancelled 3 times before, and I'm sure it'll happen again in my comedy career.
Wow, Isaac, I can't believe how brave you are. It's so crazy how victimized you are for simply speaking your truth. How can you still manage to eke out such a humble living when clearly your opinions are so unpopular? Come on, Isaac, be real. The only thing about you that's been cancelled is your gym membership. But again, he has to appeal to his viewers' pre-existing worldview of what a real masculine man looks like, so that they continue to take his videos ripping into fat people seriously. So he pretends to engage in the same standards he holds others to by hanging out with a bodybuilder, not even being particularly strong himself, but just staying in close proximity to someone who is, as if to siphon some of that excess testosterone and pass it off as his own. And he presents himself as a leader in the fight against modernity and body positivity, using his own barely tangential story as a basis for everyone else to live up to. You see, there's one more thing I haven't mentioned about Isaac yet, which is that he himself has embarked on a weight loss journey. In a few videos on his channel, Isaac explains that he used to be obese and over the course of a year lost 40 kilos. And he expresses that he wants to use his story as a means of motivating other overweight people to lose weight. And at a face value, this is good. More of that, please. But whereas good YouTubers like Kiana Doherty or Obese2Beast use their weight loss stories to provide them with an informed, compassionate perspective with which to educate others, Isaac does no such thing. Rather, the fact that he lost weight is used simply to lend more credibility to the way he treats fat people online. In his video, How I Lost 40 Kilograms in a Year, Isaac makes this claim.
The main reason I'm doing all this and I make these videos isn't because I have a dislike for people who are overweight, not even slightly. What I'm trying to do is make people healthier and live longer.
And this may make sense at face value, especially coming from somebody who did lose 40 kilos. Until you realize something important. Isaac didn't lose weight because somebody bullied him into doing it. He lost weight because he had epilepsy and wanted to alleviate the symptoms, which he did successfully. And I'm happy for him, sincerely I am. But this highlights the central issue with Isaac's approach and how he presents himself with regards to it. That whenever Isaac tries to pass off his tough love or harsh truth approach as motivating people to lose weight, he isn't speaking from some personal experience or what worked for him, but just gesturing towards what his audience reckons will work for these people, regardless of the truth and science which proves the exact opposite. None of that matters because Isaac only needs to appear credible in the eyes of his audience. That's why he hopped on the trend of criticizing Ali's appearance on the Whatever podcast. It's not some deeply held belief that he just couldn't help but advocate for. Isaac's just capitalizing off the increasing pushback against the fat acceptance movement in order to make fun of random fat people online and tell his audience that it's okay because he's sticking up for beauty standards across the globe or whatever. It's a grift, and it extends to everything he claims to stand for. I mean, look at his merch store. The only selling point any of this stuff has is, hey, you know that group of people I've conditioned you to think is annoying? Buy my merch if you really want to stick it to them. He's playing to his audience's fears and biases because it makes him money. Let me ask you a question. If Isaac really cared about men and the problems they face, why would he abandon the movement he created for them and then turn around months later to make much more profitable content complaining about how men have been abandoned? He's not given us much of a reason to believe his concern. All we have is his word, and that's proven to be pretty much worthless. So, Isaac, on the off chance that you're watching this, I want to propose something to you. You should probably try standing up for what you believe in rather than what gets you views. If you're so concerned with the epidemic of weak men and fat people and soy boys, you should do something about it. Put your money where your mouth is and actually try to make a difference, rather than pretending to. Studies have demonstrated that bullying and negativity aren't effective motivators for a change, so that's not an option. So start your average Marn movement back up and actually try uplifting the men that you've been tearing down for easy content. Commit to it. Show that your words aren't just empty gestures to get people on your side, and actually stand by them for once. It's a lot like deadlifting in a way. It's hard, it requires commitment and drive, and you need to get a grip if you want any chance of getting it off the ground. You can't fake it because someone online is going to notice and make fun of you for it. So you have to commit, even if you feel like giving up. But without a doubt, the most important thing of all is the fact that it will be completely and utterly impossible for you if you don't grow a spine. I was going to end the video there, but it didn't feel right to rip apart someone's guiding figure and not offer an alternative. That's Isaac's job. So I wanted to offer some potential replacements for Isaac's brand of masculinity that only ever seems to be defined by fighting some kind of enemy or crisis.
We're not being told to train our body, to provide for our family, to be willing to fight to the death, to protect those that we love. We're not being taught that anymore.
You react to fat people on TikTok, mate. Calm down. So let's have a look at some people who serve as good examples of traditional masculinity without being such a dick about it. Up first is Noel Diesel. He's a South African bodybuilder who makes content geared towards average guys just starting out in fitness. He fights against a lot of bro-sciencey trends in the fitness industry and never feels the need to tear other people down to elevate himself in comparison. Next up, John from Obese to Beast. I already mentioned this guy briefly, and that's because over the past decade he's been documenting his weight loss journey, but I know him for his videos about the fat acceptance movement and its figureheads. John uses his own weight loss to lend his opinions more compassion and understanding while still remaining firm in what he believes in, and this makes him an excellent replacement for basically all of Isaac's videos on fat people. If you want a workout program that's actually tailored for someone who's never been in a gym before, I highly recommend looking into a linear progression program like 5-3-1. It's pretty simple. You increase the weight by a certain amount depending on how well your maximum set goes per exercise, and it'll take you a long way as long as you don't overcomplicate it. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a comment and share some more examples of healthy masculine role models that people can look up to. I understand that there's a need for guidance, and I want to help people find someone to look up to that doesn't put their own interests first. We have a lot of those kinds of people already. If you enjoyed this video or found it even slightly informative, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications. I'm going to be looking a bit deeper into the manosphere and a lot of the arguments they use, and I'd love to have you along with me while I do. If you want early access to those videos, as well as any other projects I'll be working on, make sure to check out my Patreon. It's a flat fee of €1 per month and really helps support my longer projects. I have a few of those in the works, so stay tuned for that. Thanks very much, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!